I think it has, because it's 6:39.
Okay.
Okay.
Today we are going to do in my parents talking. This is my mom and this is me happy.
Okay. Next slide.
This is just
Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
yeah, I'm a student at Howard Norman Elementary School. I am 7 years old and I would really like to show y'all how I do my work.
Do your work. I love it. Y'all know me, but I'm Desiree. I'm Desiree Hendricks Patterson, also known as DHP. And I'm a principal at Howard Norman Elementary. And so I get to be principal for my baby, which is super exciting and super cool. And just kind of wanted to share just the way to pour into your kids, kind of encourage them along their journey. Parenting is different and there's no handbook on it. So trying to get what I can is kind of where we are. We're good? All right. All right, so the best thing ever. So this part, just kind of icebreaker, see who's in the room. Think about the best advice you've ever gotten. Think about it. Take like 30 seconds. This is the best advice. It could be from a parent. It could also be from who? Who else could it? Who else could we think of it from? Pretty much anybody. It could be like something that you just thought of, like something that you like gleaned to. So take about 10 seconds. Think of like the best thing ever. This is the best piece of advice.
We'll actually give you like about
2 minutes.
Yes.
Can we come out in 1 minute?
Hear their answer.
Well, why don't you pick up 2 people to share that? So tell them now so they can get ready.
I got the best. I got the best.
And you.
So y'all prepare to share your answers to the best advice you've ever got. You think they're ready? I think you can survey the crowd. Maybe we don't have to do 2 minutes if everybody's ready.
Anybody over here want to share their answer? Okay. So who wants to go first? You or you?
You tell them, you can pick and ask them their name.
You.
Okay, so my name is Alishka, and when my kids were probably about, I think a little older than you, I'm not sure how old you are.
How old are you?
7.
Okay, yeah, a lot older than you, but maybe like 9 and 11, something like that. My mother-in-law clipped me an article and sent it to me, you know, the way they did back in the day. And when we had newspapers we read, and it talked about how you should give your kids whatever money you spend on them for food, clothing, and entertainment. Give it to them every week, divide it up, and then they manage that money, and it teaches them to be financially, you know, smart. And so like I figured out how much money I spent on my kids' lunches, how much money I spent going out to eat, how much money we spent on clothing, and I gave it to them every week. They got an amount, and when we went out to eat, we got 3 checks. And they paid for their own food. When we went clothes shopping, they bought their own stuff. And if they needed a $10 shirt at school, they did it with their own money. No more having to write a check before I went to school in the morning because they forgot to tell me. And so it was the best advice ever, and I followed it, and they really learned to manage money at a very young age.
I love that. I need to enjoy now.
The whole thing is about making your children know how to spend money and stuff.
Yeah, it really made them, like, for the first time ever, my daughter would go to a store and she would go to the clearance aisle first instead of, you know, get whatever she wanted, because now it's her money. And so she'd gain it and she'd make it go farther. And with the kids, when we go out to eat, we go to the drive-through, and they'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get a large and we'll ask for a cup and we'll share it. And they were being so smart because it's their money now. and it was still my money,
Right.
but I was letting them make the decisions.
That's good.
And they learned to make their money go farther.
I love that. Like the caveat, I'm saying caveat to that. We gonna talk about her business a little bit later. But like I started giving her card. So the money that you make on your account, like that's on your Cash App card, you use it. You wanna buy McDonald's, you buy it.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna you do it. But it'll be great. It'll be great if I do that all the time, cause you see, I don't
That's
do it
great.
clearly enough. Right. Clearly, I'm not consistent, but I love that. I love it. You wanna call on the next person while you write? Who's next?
This one.
Yeah.
I see here.
Hello, Maya Patterson. And what I'm still learning is, believe in yourself because no one is gonna give it for you. And just like keep going, even when things get tough. And I'm still learning that. But, yeah.
I love it. So keep pushing. All right, I am super partial. I guess I'm gonna introduce everybody because it's only a couple of us, right? Like I kind of feel like all the things. So that's my sister-in-law and that's my mother-in-law, but I know them, y'all don't. So if you just want to share your name and either like how many kids you got, what role you play, those kind of things, or I'm just here to support, I'm just here to look at you, I'm just, whatever the things are.
Well, I'm Chiquita. I have 5 kids.
God bless you.
Yeah, age range, I have 18 who is at Temple right now.
Oh.
And then I have a middle school, she's 11. A lot of attitude. I have a 3-year-old, and then I have twins that are boy girl, that are 2.
Whew. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's fun times.
Let's see. I am currently attendance registrar, PIMS clerk at Conwood Creek.
Okay.
Done with.
Yes.
That's a new job for me. Started that like mid-October, kind of, so learning a whole new thing.
Peeves is crazy.
I guess just to throw in from what everybody else was given, what my parents kind of gave me was Mahalia Jackson song, if I can help somebody along the way, then my living ain't in vain.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, and I started off as a receptionist. I gave birth to my son. 2 weeks later, I started work and I didn't tell them I had gave birth until in March. I waited till he was like almost on his 3rd month. And I was like, hey, before I started, you guys, I had a baby 2 weeks. And then I was like, why didn't you tell us? You could have took time. I was like, no, I got it. I felt like God blessed me with it. So I'm gonna run with it. And for me, I feel like I've been helping more of myself than anything. Though I feel like I'm helping others, I feel like it's not in vain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it, love it.
Hi, I'm like Malcolm Patterson. My children, I've got, yeah.
You go ask support, huh?
You're counting. Girls. Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Poor girl.
Or else. I am retired. Thank God, but I'm on the way to retiring and have working, doing a lot of stuff. But I'm here to support this DHP and it's heaven. But my advice that I got growing up over and over was to do much is given.
Much is
Much is
required.
required.
Oh.
And so my life is, okay, God, fine, yes, God, so.
I love it. We introducing ourselves because I was like, we small enough, right? Like, just introduce ourselves and we had talked about like the best piece of advice you got. So that's where we are right now, but you don't have to do that. You can just say who you are.
Okay. My name is Mary. I am, like in Bay family, so I feel like I'm here to support her and heaven. I am retired, semi-retired. I don't know how to stay retired. I'm a workaholic. My advice, Lord, I've been trying to think of the words that came from this lady here. And it's like, I'm sorry, I have,
What else?
No is a complete sentence.
no is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. I have a hard time saying that, okay? So, no is a, complete sentence.
She's like, I don't even know how to say that. No.
Which no?
Any of, oh.
Oh.
Good job.
It's like, what?
Yeah, that's
I'm
me.
slow. I love it. A complete sentence. Yeah,
My name's Emil Daniels, just my name.
your name, if you wanna share how many kids you have, or like, what you wanna get out of here.
No kid. I came here to support my sorority sister, she's a principal.
And mountain.
So that's why I came to volunteer. I don't have kids. Best advice my mom probably gave me was to live my life. She had me at 20 and she was like, don't
Don't do that.
live your life.
No.
And I had some very fun adventures because of that.
That's exciting. That's my sorority, Alexis is my sorority sister, that's, I'm godmother to her kids, so, yeah, and so I was like, yes, soror, all the next. Can we go to the next slide? You got it all done? Alright, we've ice broken, I feel like we're all like family in here, and ultimately, I just wanted to do this to kind of give her a platform, to get her used to talking to people and sharing her story, because I feel like it's a big piece of that. So when I say, hey, we're gonna do this presentation, what you wanna talk about? I don't know, we can talk about anything. So we're here, we gonna see what comes about. Next slide.
The next slide is drum roll, please.
And what is
We're
it?
learning our A, B, C's.
So
Can
teaching
everybody say that with me? A,
B, C. Can I talk? Yes. Alright, so A is for attitude, and just having a good perspective. So like teaching people, teaching our kids to have an attitude of positivity. Being confident with themselves, expressing that, but understanding that that perception will determine your outcome and what your successful is. If you continue to be like, oh, I'm down, okay, I'm down, like you're never gonna make the, get to the success, you'll never get to have the experiences, oh, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I gotta do A, B, C, or D, like you gotta change your perspective on life so that you can get those experiences and have those successes. Belief, knowing, loving yourself, knowing that you got it, I got it, and so when you talk about your mom, like, do what you gotta do, live your life, and being confident about that, knowing what you're worth. And then the last thing is curiosity. So for me, it's curiosity. But we did this presentation with her daddy, and he was like, it's important to have integrity. And so I couldn't get that straight with the ABC situation. And so I was like, ChatGPT, how can I connect this and that? And it was like, well, character, having integrity is part of that. So we're gonna mess up as people, and teaching kids, that's okay when you mess up, own it, live in whatever the consequences are, and keep moving. Like, it doesn't have to be an end all be all. But for me, that curiosity piece, like letting her try new things, participate in what she wants to participate in, but not be, I'm not the mama that just let her do whatever either. So, just trying to make sure that those two things play a part. Yes, ma'am. So integrity is being honest. Being, huh? Don't, I was like, I'm not lying. But yeah, don't lie about it, like be honest, be stand up, be true to yourself. So like, don't just do something because everybody else is doing it. Just trying to fit in, like have integrity, be who you are, live your life, own it. One of the best pieces of advice, my mama died in 2015.
I thought I
I
was
think-
done in 2017 or
You were born in-
2016. Actually,
Just 2015, anyway.
no,
2015, and she used to always say, we can agree to disagree. And so my level of like, okay, like you can believe however you want to talk and hear people out. I can put myself in your shoes. I can understand where you come from, but we can agree to disagree on how you're choosing to do whatever. So I think that's one of the greatest lessons. Go to the next slide. Hey, you present. Come on,
I know.
push the X. All right, so I wanna talk about like these things individually. And so when I first asked her, Heaven, what are we gonna talk about in our thing? What do you think is an important lesson? What did you tell me? You can say it. You can say it. Go. You need to teach mamas how to tell their kids to wipe things up. That was her response. I was like, oh my God, I might have overdone it. Like, I might have extended myself too far in this, because that was her response. And I was like, what? And so she's like, it's important. Like, they need to know how to take like their own butt. And I was like, okay, like, so of course the mama in me and the curiosity is like, let me let you have your say and have your point, but I need to put it in some language that people can like understand. And so I thought about a couple things. Her daddy would talk about body image with young men, like making sure you look good, smell nice, take care of your body, your shoes, your clothes, make sure you put together. It's his thing. And body image, like teaching our young girls. I'll tell y'all the forces story later. But having a good, positive body image, taking care of yourself, your hair, how you smell, how you look. And then of course, you know, like all the body talks of whatever happens with your body and those kind of things. So asking and trying to figure out what to like. Yes.
Oh, you could have finished.
Oh, that's it before I go to.
How are you addressing body image in a social media world that really has a negative impact on kids and with body image?
What I would say is to continue to have the conversation. It's not a one-time feeling. So if something happens or I see something or I feel a certain kind of way, because sometimes I'm feeling a certain kind of way, I just ask her, like, what do you think about this? So my husband was like, oh, my baby getting thick, or you getting big, or you getting fat, and that's in my mind. In our culture, that's just kind of a common thing. And so I asked her, I say, well, Heaven, how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about people calling you fat? Well, do you remember what you told me?
We all have different stomachs.
Well, it's fine. We all have different stomachs. You know, so when other conversations come up, or if somebody says something about what she looked like, you're like, you remember that time you was like,
If
y'all
you
different.
And they can't do something in 30 seconds or less, don't tell them.
What? You okay, think about that, but that's really what it is. So it's having that conversation often, or whenever it comes up and she look funny. So like now we're getting to the stage where we're locking the bathroom door. And so the mama in me is like, well, why? Like, what are you doing there? But like, you trying to see, like, you want to talk about something, you got questions you need to ask. So like those kind of things. And I'm I let her do whatever, YouTube, like whatever the things are. So I know she's getting exposed to more things, right? But I don't want to say, hey, all these things, let me tell you about this, let me tell you, like, I don't want to front load you with all these things that you may not be exposed to yet. And so I ask her, what are you watching? Or I'll go check the history so I can see what things she may have saw so that I can address them how I want to. I don't want to shelter her because I kind of feel like that's how I was. Don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, don't do whatever. So then it made it like taboo. I was like, oh, well, let me just see what I can do. And so I didn't want to like, I know her friends are on all the things, so I don't want to be like, no, you can't use it because then she just gonna sneak and then we're not gonna have those conversations. And that's just how I was. So I wanted to make sure that I gave her the opportunity to have those conversations. So often, and I mean, trust but verify, like check the phone, check the whatever to see what they're being exposed to, their conversations. How was your day? Your friends nice to you? What did they say about it? You know, and like I braid her hair, and so sometimes her hair don't look straight to me, and so I'll be like, anybody had anything to say? You know, like, so I can also tell you like, well, when they say that, you can say this. Have mom ever told you what to do if somebody has something crazy to say?
You gotta have a positive attitude.
Get that. I don't know if y'all remember like MySpace and all.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So like my last name change was Perception is Reality. And so that's high school. And like just understanding the way that you see things and your attitude about things is the reality in hurt, in celebration, in all of the things. And so it's hard for people to understand your perception, but if you can get them to the perception, like it makes things easier. And so I'm like putting yourself in other people's shoes. So like my husband, this kind of connects to this forces story, is big on presentation and what it looks like.
That is my first story.
Okay, yes, you can tell them your forces story.
Okay, My forces story started when I was about.
Oh, Lord. Make it a quick story, don't make it a long
My
story.
story was when I started about 7 years old, which how old I am now. It started about
Okay, it started this
9
year.
months ago.
Okay, thanks.
And then my daddy told me I have to keep my shoes clean. And then that's when that's
Show them how you be
started.
walking. That is truly like, and my husband grew up, he was in that household of like, you got 2 pair of shoes for the year, and that gotta last you. And he wanted to look presentable, so when he got home from school, he was cleaning them, making sure they straight, and he's still like that now, but he got her like that. So when she has on forces specifically, she walking like, what you doing? I walk in the grass, I do in the mud, like whatever, they shoes, they supposed to get walked on. And so that's where, like, when you talk about perception and like, he has this mindset, we not in a money struggle, right? We don't have the same, like, I need to be this. She has a gazillion different shoes. It don't matter what they look like, but that's his thing. And so allowing him to have that as well, right? Like, okay, I guess it's cool. Yes, yes. What else is next?
This is the day that we were supposed to go on, but we didn't go on.
Okay, well, go ahead. Cherish what you got is the last thing, and that's just being
Your body
understanding,
perception
perception.
is reality.
Uh-huh. And cherish what you got. So that's a hashtag that I
Cherish
kind of
what
started.
you got.
And it's really just to teach kids to be grateful for what they have. We all had different like way we grow up, and when we grow up, we like, I want my kids to be better off than I was, so we try to get better and better and better. But those experiences made you who you are too. So trying to make sure that they have a good understanding, teaching them about money, like I didn't have that luxury, right? But my mom was big on perception, and so I remember our lights being off. And she was like, "Yeah, we gonna have a candlelight dinner." Oh, and it was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this." But like in retrospect, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you're right." Like, and so stuff like that, the perception on how you see the hard things and the good things, right? Like this is not an end all be all. Social media, I struggle because I'm scared she's gonna be in her feelings about it, right? As time goes on. So that's yet to be determined. I'll be back in a couple of years to tell y'all about what happens there. Here, present this slide.
Grit,
What's the big topic?
belief.
Okay.
Oh, whoops.
It's okay. That's it.
Oh.
That's it.
Ooh,
That's it.
belief,
Okay.
belief, grit.
Do you know what grit means?
No clue.
Y'all can tell that's mine. But like, it's that pick up and continue to go forward. Teaching our kids, it's okay to mess up. It's not the end of the world. Yes, it may come with consequences. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. Like as a principal, I'm dealing with kids who don't know how to take consequences. You can be mad. I was mad, so it's cool now. No. Let's be clear. You can't get mad, tear up my room, hit everybody, and then be like, "Oh, y'all love me still? I'm mad. I got an attitude, and you need to clean up this mess. You need to fix the board that you tore up." Like it gotta come with additional consequences, but that's not it. I'm not mad at you forever. We can restart later. I love you to death. But we finna clean this up. We finna do this and this. And I think that that's a big lesson that is missing right now. Is like the accountability piece that when it's over, I can still have feelings about it and I can move accordingly and I forgive you, move on. That's cool. Okay, do hard things with God. Okay,
Or in God.
heart and God, either is fine. So what about doing hard things?
You can do anything hard if you put your mind to it.
That's true.
Actually.
Actually, can you think of something that maybe was hard at first, but then you just like changed your mindset?
Yeah.
What?
Whenever I was in
Okay, it's fine. Tell me about the God one. Can you, you don't have to write in my note. Yeah, she loves this clear touch. Yeah. What about it?
God. God means something,
Heather, please just say it, right, so we can get done.
something we trust, something we should trust and should believe in.
Okay.
At least some of us probably do, and most of us probably.
Why is that important? Do you know?
So you can go to heaven.
You can go to the next slide. When I named Heaven, I had lost my mom, I lost my mother-in-law, and I've had 2 losses before her. So I lost 2 sons before I had Heaven. And so it was like, I can't name her after all these people. Like in my mind, that's what I needed to do. And I was like, I'm gonna name her Heaven. That's where those people are. That's where they're going. That's where we'll meet. That's where, you know, like that. Honestly, when you see her name, I need you to be thinking about where I'm trying to get to. And so that was the rationale. Her name is Heaven Matre Patterson. She is my 3rd and all the things. So that's just kind of one of them pieces that I wanted to add when I said that. All right, last thing, Kevin, we only got about 10 minutes before it's over. Yeah, that's fine, right? We should be good. All right, so the last one is curiosity and character. I already talked about it. Okay, go ahead.
And acceptance of others, integrity. Heaven sent body.
Okay, pause.
Heaven sent body.
Kevin, can we talk about acceptance of others? Is it important to accept people how they are? Why?
Because they can't change themselves.
Okay. Well, who changes them? How do they change? How do they get better?
I don't know.
It's like interactions with people and having positive interactions. Right now I'm in school and my dissertation is on like the disproportionality of Black students in discipline and how parents' experiences with discipline in the school setting impacts how they interact with their kids' school. Like that's kind of the what. And in my interviews, like I'm hearing parents talk about, well, when I was in school, I never got talked to. Or only time somebody talked to me was to tell me, don't do that, you too loud, when somebody else over here was, you know, and it's like accepting people for who they are and their experiences and understanding that they've had their own experiences and that's molded them into the person that they are and saying, that's okay. Cool, we can agree to disagree, all the things. And then let me share my perspective with you. There's this picture, and I probably should have added it. It's a picture of 2 faces facing each other. One face is red, one face is blue. And then they each have pieces of the other color in their head. And it's like, if I can share my perspective with you and it becomes part of your schema, part of what you think and believe and consider, then that's, we can, I'm cool with that. We may not agree, but you can at least understand my perception. And so for my dissertation is getting staff, teachers, to understand that parents have an experience and sometimes it's not positive in a school setting. And so how to bridge that gap in communication, like, I know you don't trust me, but I'm here for your kid, I want what's best, and being able to navigate that conversation with people who may not trust you, may have had a horrible experience, they don't trust teachers or administrators to be fair, like to speak the truth, because their experience has been something different. And so it's still crazy to talk about that stuff right now, because it's still so live. And I don't understand why they not responding. I don't know why they're on 10 when they call me. Well, nobody listened to them when they were kids and it was happening. And so now they responded in a way like, no, you're not gonna fake. And sometimes the kid be lying, you know what I mean? But it's hard to get past that because they have this barrier up. So just accepting people and understanding everybody has their experiences. Yes, ma'am?
So with you being a principal, as that factor that you bring up with the difference of how parents grew up, why isn't there a setup, like we have the meet the teacher nights where, yeah, you meet this teacher, but you only met them for like 5 minutes.
And you might not even met them by yourself.
And you got a whole classroom, but why isn't there a setup to where as parents will sit with teachers? And not just for a parent-teacher conference, but for that connection, because initially, when you sit your child in that room, you say, I want you to build a connection. I want you to get to know this teacher. I want you to build a trust. But at the same time, as parents, when do we ever get that connection to say, oh my goodness, I'm asking them to build a trust. So that means I need to as well.
Right, and that is missing. And I'm saying that I struggle, I'm in the middle as a principal, I'm hearing the teachers saying I'm burnt out, I can't teach this kid, I have this behavior, I can't focus, I can't get all the things in.
Right.
And then I'm hearing parents saying, well, they not responding, or they don't care, or whatever. And then I'm hearing my bosses telling me, you need to make sure I be
You
seeing
get
things.
this done.
And I'm in the middle.
How do you do a tug of war?
For me, I'm kind of just transparent. I'll be like, hey, this is how it would feel. So I've kind of had some situations where I'm like, this is what they're thinking. Based on what they've said, the words that they've said, it has these implications in worst case scenario. So you need to respond accordingly. This is why you can't say, this kid is being disrespectful. Because when I talk to him and I ask, well, what do you think is happening? He cussing out the teacher and hitting her and da. And the teacher's like, oh, absolutely not. No, that's not it. I'm just saying I asked him to get up out his seat and he didn't do it. And so when we bridge that communication gap, it's cool, but they never had that conversation. They don't have time to understand people's intents and stuff like that. So creating platforms like that, but the reality is teachers tired. They got a family, they got a job that they gotta go to, and then they gotta go home and do more work. So it's hard to find the time for those people to come together and do it within a schedule, within their boundaries. So when she talked about 7 to 7, our teachers is tired. They're going from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. sometimes. And that's before they get home and have to do their life, if they don't have life outside of that, right? But then I have parents saying like, well, I need to build a connection, but I don't get done until,
Yeah.
you know.
Everybody.
But then it's like, well, when does a teacher have their boundaries of like, I got a family that I have to get home to, right? You know, so it's that natural break. It's hard. And I just want to be able to share that perspective of like, the teacher has a newborn at home and a husband, and they also involved in their community and have this community meeting and this, and this. So they don't really have time to meet outside of this class time. What other situation can we do? All right, okay, sorry, y'all.
Don't
Okay,
talk
okay, well, she was asking questions, you have to respond to your participants. Okay, keep going, so we can argue that.
Acceptance of others
Yeah, check.
for your skin.
All right, talk about the body butter.
Anywhere else.
Talk about the body butter. Talk about the body butter.
Again,
How did we start this? Because we only got 4 minutes, so we gotta talk about.
my booty button.
So we went to a youthpreneur, as a group of kids running their own businesses, kids under 21. We hosted this event. And she went there and like was able to go around and like was like, well, Heaven, what do you want to sell? And so but I want to do something. Maybe we can sell lemonade or all the things that she had saw. And I was like, well, I want to do what everybody else doing. What else could we do? I don't know. So she has eczema like here. And so I was putting it on her one night and she was like, no, we can make butt butter. But that's again, her perspective of things. And I'm like, I gotta put it in something that people will like, not be like, what? But it's literally a shea butter and sunflower oil and then like some kind of fragrance to go with it. And so that's how her business started. And so we've been doing youthpreneur since she was 4 or 5. 4. So we've been doing it for almost 4 years now. And we only sell them at pop-up shops. So if somebody invites us to be a vendor, we kind of do that. But yeah, and so that's my embracing her curiosity, what she want to do, giving her experiences. Our kids are missing the actual experiences. They're seeing the TV, they're seeing the thing, but they don't know how to have the actual experience. So taking her on trips, exposing her, like, where is the Capitol? We down the street from place, huh? How is this? Those kind of things are important to have. And so her business, this is probably my most proud moment, is to like see her out there selling her stuff. All right, what's this part? You go
Mom
with this?
and daughter moment. I love this picture. This is my birthday picture, and then our glow day. This is my favorite moment. This is just my favorite.
And so what happened in this picture here? Can you?
I was giving a bike to somebody else because that bike was super small for me, and I already have one at my house personally.
Yeah, so
But it is too small for me.
she had a bike and she won a bike at like one of the like little event things, and I was like, Heaven, can you ride the bike? Is it useful? Like all the things. And she was like, no. I was like, you should find somebody to give it to. And she was like, no, it's okay. I'm gonna take it with me anyway. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And then maybe like 4 or 5 minutes later, she's like, I think I'm gonna give it away. So we went and just found somebody else around the event and said, hey, do you want a bike? Do you want a bike? And they were like, Yeah, like, is this a trick? And so that's what it is. Tell me about your YouTube channel.
This is my YouTube channel. It's called Hang with Heaven. Please follow me on YouTube, but you don't have to.
How many, you have 78 subscribers right now, what is your goal? Yes. What is your goal? Tell me what your goal is. Tell them what your goal is.
My goal is to reach
How many followers?
1K followers.
1K, it was 100. I was trying, okay.
How do you know?
Well, we're not gonna get to her. It's hilarious.